Hello, bearded bee people. Welcome back to BKBs. I guess I'm going to make this a random inspection Friday, but it'll be, in the guise of let's talk about overwintering in single box colonies, because I feel like that is the takeaway anyway for me out here on April 20th. For the first time inside these hives, I'm not breaking any frames apart unless I am giving food, but the vast majority of these are single box colonies. They were planned to be that way, and I just want to talk about that because I think there's a misconception that you need some crazy large colony to make it through a winter because it's cold. This is one of the coldest winters I've experienced as a beekeeper, and these little boxes did pretty well, as you can see. I mean, look at this. That was 10 frames of bees. The only supplemental food that I provided is what you see right here, some sugar on some paper. And that was one time in February, because I did it to every colony, because it was February and it was nice, and that's the thing beekeepers do. So we want to. Okay, so I got cut off by a storage alert on the phone, so I don't know how much of all of that you heard. I will recap quickly. I think there's a misconception out there that you need huge colonies to make it through tough winters. This was the toughest winter I've seen as a beekeeper, and we had some of these single tall colonies above screened bottom boards. This is not one of those, but I'm just saying the bees have a great ability to deal with cold. If you make sure all of the other metrics, all the other criteria are taken care of, and by that I mean healthy bees, enough food, take care of the robbing situation in the fall, make sure that they can defend their hive, all of those things are taken care of. And I mean, of course, you don't want it standing on the top of some Arctic hill, with wind blowing inside the hive constantly. So you don't, go into the winter with no forethought. But I am just saying that it is definitely a misconception that they need to be huge to deal with the cold. Oh. You get them well set up, and do everything that I talked about in that overwintering in cold climates video. Make sure that every vacant space is filled with syrup. Gosh, that's a heavy box. Or syrup, honey, preferably. And you take them, make sure that they're in a good location, and you have a good shot. I mean, it's just not a joke. They can overwinter in small clusters and go through a small amount of food and come out of winter strong and ready for another box. If you don't know what I'm doing over here, I'm just scraping the moldy dead bees off the bottom board. I'm not doing anything else. Just helping them out with their spring cleaning. And then I'm going to bleach this hive tool later. Not that the mold is harmful, because it's not. It's a natural part of a bee's existence. But there's a lot of gunk and nasty stuff on this, and I need to be more aware of that. I need to have separate hive tools for each yard. Oh. Okay, scoot them back this way. Alright. I'm gonna try to deal with this stuff as best I can. I think I am gonna wait and do this. I'm gonna put another box on here right now. So I'm gonna go run and grab that, and I will be right back. This is a Mary Ellen queen, and this is what you get when you find some really, really good locally acclimatized feral bees. People say feral bees aren't a thing, and I believed that until I found these. If you don't know the story, I will tell it once again. I'm sure the vast majority of you know that story. But a lady named Mary Ellen showed up to our local bee group saying, hey, I bought a house. There's this couple of bee boxes out back, and I would like some help with it. I'd like to know what to do. And so I went out there, Katie and I went out there with our friend Kofi, the leader of our local bee group. And we helped her put those bees into some equipment that would last longer than the junk that they were in at that time. I mean, the stuff just fell apart when we disassembled the hive. It was interesting. I thought, wow, these bees have just been here for however long. So I made a mental note of that. And then I think almost 4 years later, I guess it was about 3 years later, Mary Ellen had done nothing to those bees in terms of maintenance or treatment, and they're just still killing it. So I got a frame of eggs from her and grafted a bunch of daughters, and that was the conception of our Mary Ellen line of queens. I mean, they're exceptional. We'll do a mite count here in 10 days or so, when the nights are warm enough for me to start breaking into each hive and pulling them out frame by frame. And after we make our trip to Georgia, which we leave this upcoming Monday. So after all that, and when the nights are warmer, I'll do mite counts, and that'll surely set my graft schedule and leading candidates in terms of who's going to get grafted and who's going to get grafted first. But that's definitely you know, one that I'm excited about. I'm excited to find out what kind of mite load they're carrying right now. I expect it to be low. I mean, this is not a high mite load time of year, and they definitely aren't exhibiting any signs of having endured a lot of PMS throughout last fall or the winter. So I doubt that that's an issue for them, but I will find out definitively when I do that. So let's see, how long is this video? 11 minutes. All right, I'll cut it off here. Get out, clean off those bottom boards, have some fun with your bees, make sure they have some more room, because we're getting to that time of year where the external stimuli are screaming to them. Swarm, swarm, swarm. You know, that's the natural tendency of a bee colony, is to propagate, to make more, and to swarm. So reproductive swarms are starting now. You know, they're warmer, days are getting longer, the pollen is coming in, fairly soon the nectar will be coming in. I'm kind of mimicking that over there with that bucket that I have to remove here in a minute. But so yeah, they're starting to think swarm, so get out there and give them some more room. But have fun while you're doing it. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe if you haven't already. Click like if you did like it. If you don't click anything. Thank you. See ya.